when there was a real push on food waste in social media and in media in general a couple of years ago, one of the methods of trying to get people to perceive how much waste we're talking about was to take how much food is wasted, which is 40% of all the food that is grown in the country or manufactured. 40% of that ends up being wasted. Well, percents people don't deal with well.
Right.
And poundage people don't deal with well. So what they came up with was this idea of, well, people know how big a football stadium is. And they said, well, if we take that volume of food and put it into stadiums, how many are we talking? Nationally, we're talking 733 stadiums.
Oh my goodness.
Basically the size of Memorial Stadium. For Nebraska, what we're talking about is 27 stadiums full of food, and that's how much Nebraskans waste. If you want to look at just what my focus is, and that's fresh produce, now you're down to 7 stadiums full of produce, and that's just what Nebraskans waste. And so you refer that back to that original 733 stadiums worth of food, and that translates to being enough food to feed all of the people who are hunger at risk, not only in our country, but in almost the entire world.
What happens to leftover food?
Well, it depends. If it's something that we can serve at another time and still be food safe, then we chill it in our blast chiller, and then we make plans to use it in another menu. If it's something that doesn't look good, then we will either send it to food nets, or else we put it down to disposal for trash.
Yeah. Oh, wow, cool. So, on average, how much of food do you think is wasted? Is there a large amount?
No, I don't think so, because we track it pretty closely so that we don't waste it. I would say maybe 20%, maybe about 20, 25.
I'd say 20 or even less. I think we're tight enough that we're, like you said, on production and stuff, we're not overproducing, and then batch cooking too. The cooks are getting more used to making smaller batches, especially towards the closes of their shifts.
Right.
When it's getting closer to 1:30, so we won't make. So I think it's 20% or less. Yeah.
Would you describe just the overall UNL campus as wasteful when it comes to food?
Yes.
Based on what you've seen.
Yes. UNL's no different than any large campus that I've seen across the country, or any small campus really for that matter. And the issue is that the model exists and has existed for so long that food waste that occurs either within the dormitory settings and the dining halls, or even in locations such as smaller departmental meetings, college events, and even to the extent of the businesses that operate out of the student union. For so long, it's been the practice that you just throw away your excess. Now we are seeing a movement more towards organizations redirecting some of that waste. Student groups, such as the sustainability group, do a really great job of raising awareness through campaigns on campus. The student sustainability group is really pushing campus to become more efficient, more aware of that waste, but there's still progress to be made.
Right.
It's what I don't know if you know, we forecast amounts.
Yeah, I was going to ask how you know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so at the beginning of the semester, we have a food management program where we plug in the amounts of food that we think we're going to serve,
Right.
and then it spits out all the recipes and everything.
Okay.
So then, say it's the first Monday, so we keep track of, we've already kind of forecasted it without knowing exactly what people are going to eat. So that first Monday, so we had, say we served 500 hamburgers and we prepared 700.
Okay.
Then we put that, we keep track of that, and the next time we'll just serve 500. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
We adjust weekly.
We adjust weekly.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much every time it's about the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of a guessing
It's just
game.
science, yeah. It really is.
and then so the nice thing about our fruit is we get it every day.
Okay.
So if we don't have enough, then we can order more for the next day.
Right.
So actually all our food deliveries we get on a daily
Yeah.
Right.
It is, like you said, it's such a sign, because like even when like a honeydew comes in, you know, we have to taste it, because we know if the students don't like it, they're not going to eat it. We notice little things like that. We notice the honeydew, you cut it down for the next day order. So there's a lot of good things there.
Or say, like right now, I just got an email today that all the prices are going up because it's cold in Yuma, Arizona, where a lot of the vegetable production is.
Right.
So that'll probably mean it'll change our menu a little bit. And like cauliflower is really high right now, so we're like using frozen cauliflower.
Right.
So things like that.
I know that a couple of schools, particularly Nebraska Wesleyan here in Lincoln, have moved to a system where students no longer can have a tray to carry plates on. They have to carry plates individually, and they have smaller plates. So the students are limited in that first round through as to how much they can take based just upon how much can they carry. Yes, some students will do multiple return visits, getting multiple plates, but the majority of students over at Wesleyan now operate on that. I can only carry 2 plates. They're smaller plates, and they have really reduced their waste that way.
When we got rid of trays, because food waste did go down after we stopped using trays. And I haven't seen a ton of food waste actually. So, because it's limited to how much you can carry.
Yeah.
Elimination of trays was probably, at least 8 years ago?
I think about
I mean, well beyond your guys' time, but it was such a huge...
It was
I remember
huge.
people would put 2 dinner plates, a salad plate, 3 drinks on a tray.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, and 50% of the stuff was coming back. The day we went away with trays was amazing. The students complained like crazy. Sorry, I'm sidetracking.
You're fine.
Students complained for half a year to a year. They even signed petitions to bring trays back.
Yeah.
And it took 2 years for students to, I think we started tracking waste.
Yeah.
And started showing them the poundage of stuff that was being saved by going trayless. Then they started, but it was a cool thing. Sorry. Yeah.
So are all UNL dining rooms all the same program?
Yeah, they're all trayless.
All 5 of us are combined. 4 here in East Campus.
First off, recognize, do you waste when you're having breakfast, lunch, or supper if you're living in the dorms? Just analyze yourself. And this is something that we recommend to people outside of this. I used to contract with the local food bank on working with their clients on food consumption, nutrition, food waste. And it does make you more aware if you track for a few days, what do I eat, how much do I eat, and how much do I waste? Follow that for a week and become aware of what you're actually wasting. Recognize what it is that you might be keeping in your dorm room that eventually you end up throwing away because it's been there too long. And recognize, do you waste when you go eat fast food? And this is one that a lot of people will do. Throwing away that half of a hamburger, part of their fries. And a way around that situation is to, if a menu allows it, getting a half order. If it doesn't have that option, then taking what you do end up not eating at the dorm, at the restaurant, take it back to your dorm, and that way maybe you can skip going down to the dining hall at supper.
Just like in Husker Hoagies, we went from, we have those yellow baskets. Do you guys ever eat Husker Hoagies?
Yes.
So if you're eating in, you can use a basket instead of a paper sack.
Just started this semester. Her initiative,
Yeah. And then we went from like the jelly. We're going away from the individual packets and doing the bulk, so we decrease the amount of plastic that we're putting in the trash.
Right.
And one more thing that we
individually portioned.
The individually portioned dips and stuff, we're going to go away from that.
Because like the
plastic,
Yep.
Because so then we're not putting plastic in the landfill.
Right, because it adds up.
It does add up. And doing it in bulk. And that's really one of I just became the manager here in August. And that's kind of my big thing is we're trying to reduce the amount of waste that we're putting in the landfill.
Our organization is known as Produce from the Heart. We're a nonprofit organization. It's in Lincoln. We operate out of southeast Nebraska and southwestern Iowa. We've been in operation for 4 years as a recognized nonprofit. We've been around 5 years as an organization. What we do is we work with farmers markets, community gardens, personal gardens, and what we term food hubs, organizations that buy produce and then redistribute it to other buyers. And what we do is we offer the service that if they're going to have excess produce for any reason, for farmers, if they grow too much or have some that they can't sell, same thing for gardens and whatnot. If they have too much, then we offer two things. One, if it's already harvested, we'll offer to come pick it up. If it's not harvested, we'll offer to bring in volunteers to do the harvesting. Then we take all of that excess produce and we take it to pantries, food shelters, food banks, shelters, homeless shelters, for those groups that are helping with hunger relief organizations. And we try to do it as close to the farmer as possible so they know that they're helping their local community.
That is, I don't know exactly how you work, but it's like they take food from everywhere and then they distribute it to free to people at different sites throughout the city. So like sometimes, say, before school started, we had sandwiches because we had a special lunch, and we give them the sandwiches, and then they distribute it at the different sites.
Food Net's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Used to be People City Mission, but because of liability, they don't pick up anymore, I think.
Right.
Food Net, I think it's through a church. I don't know for sure. Is it affiliated with the church or not? Or is it
I don't think
it's a nonprofit?
It's a nonprofit.
But they distribute to, I think.
They have a different churches are where they distribute.
Right.
Food.
They distribute to, yeah.
And they get food from supermarkets.
Oh, yeah.
And all kinds of places.
That's very cool.
Food Net's really cool here in Lincoln, yeah.
And even like when we shut down at the end of the semester, we try to get everything down as low as we can. But there might be some stuff that is still perfectly fine, so we give that to Food Net.
Right.
So we really don't. None of us like to throw anything away.
Yeah, no, we don't.
True.
Because we like to. Well, we have to be fiscally responsible, and if we're throwing it away, then
True, too.
we're wasting money.
Right.
And now we have a new director that just literally started 2 weeks ago, and he's already looking at cost-saving things. So it's good for us, too. I think he's going to challenge us to even be a little bit more efficient on. This project's done, I think, every year, and I don't know what class this is. Another one, I remember years ago, weren't we all measuring, weighing food waste for a class project? Somebody got so involved that we all agreed, like, to start weighing stuff.
Yeah.
That was an interesting week or so, but that was kind of neat too, because we actually had scales in the back and then everything that was getting tossed. And again, it's 20% or less. I think it's less. I mean, I would hope that it's less than 20.
I would say around 20%, probably. Just from what I've seen come back on the tray line and stuff.
Right.
It needs to be taught in the classrooms. We need to have classes where it fits in. It needs to be no different than fitting in social issues in other classes, where we bring equality into our syllabus. We bring climate issues into our syllabus. We need to start bringing waste overall into those syllabus that it fits into the courses it fits into, to raise awareness that way.
So would you say that the issue is growing or not?
Oh yes, yeah. The issue, though we're addressing it now, is still a growing issue. It's usually just an awareness issue, and most people don't realize when you add it up how much it truly adds up to.